Welcome to the National Queen's Choice Online News. I'm Robin Stienberg and welcome to the Stienberg Review. Today we have Archbishop, His Grace Nicholas Chia with me here in Singapore, and he will share with us his experiences and also his advice for future individuals who want to join the priesthood in the Catholic Church. His Grace Archbishop Nicholas Chia has served many years in the Catholic Church, and he's going to give very insightful advice. His Grace Nicholas Chia, welcome to my show, and it's been an honor to have you. And first of all, could you tell us a little bit about your life as a priest, and why did you choose your path to be a priest for the Catholic Church?
Well, Robin, when I finished my studies, then I had to see what I was going to do, and I was very impressed by the priests of the parish where I was, that they were doing a lot of good work. So then I decided to join the seminary, and I spent 9 years of training. Then I was ordained in 1964. So it's 49 years plus already since my ordination as a priest.
And so has Singapore changed since that time when you first joined the priesthood?
Well, certainly there are changes. Nothing is always the same. And definitely now, for instance, now we are more in a digital world already. And definitely there are more people and more education and so forth. So more challenges ahead of us.
His Grace Nicholas Chia, Archbishop of Singapore, another question I have for you is from my viewers. They have one question, that is, during your time in your seminary, was there 3 things that you have learned that has carried with you forward when you became a full-fledged priest?
Well, of course, in the seminary, we learn to pray. We learn with regard to the doctrines of the church and so forth, and have community life also. So these are part and parcel of our life.
What's your favorite moment being the Archbishop of Singapore after serving so many years?
Well, it's always a challenge to be on top of the diocese at Singapore. So as Archbishop, I have to have the overall charge of Singapore, all the Catholics, and to see that they will walk in the correct way and will be able to reflect the gospel values to others also through their lives.
And His Grace Archbishop Nicholas Chia, another question I have from one of my viewers is that what does it mean to be a Catholic to you for the past 49 years?
Well, to be a Catholic, in the first place, you must have a deep faith in God, that we all belong to God, and that we must follow what God is teaching us and how He has revealed to us through Jesus Christ. And so we learn from the teachings of Christ, the Gospels, the value of life and so forth.
Now, coming to the closure of the term as an Archbishop in the coming months, so what would be your key advice for priests who wants to pursue the career as a priest of a Catholic Church? Because you have a great experience for 49 years. What would be the 3 things that you would give to them?
Well, with regard to retirement, I still do not know exactly when I will retire. It will ultimately depend on Rome. However, for future priests, the most important thing is to really know what the priesthood is about. And to be a priest means to act in the person of Christ. So in our thoughts, in our words, in our actions, somehow we must reflect Christ and the gospel values there. So we must be forgetful of ourselves and try and always to center on God and center on God's presence in the people, especially those who are in need there.
His Grace, Archbishop Nicholas Chia. Just one last question, and that is, one of my viewers asked this question for you, and that is, when you first decided that priesthood was and is the only career that you want to pursue, what was the convincing factor that caused you to understand that this is your destiny? And do you believe in destiny?
Well, when I decided to become a priest, it is because I felt that the priesthood is something that will give meaning to me in my life and the lives of others then. So it's the gift of oneself ultimately that I was thinking of.
Yeah, His Grace Archbishop Nicholas Chia, before we go and close, do you have any plans to write your own biography, and also would you be giving more speaking engagements in various churches around the world, even in Singapore?
Well, I don't intend to write a biography. I always want to remain in the background. I want to be humble, simple, but definitely I will continue even after my retirement to do what I can for the good of the church and the good of the people there. To try to help the people to grow in love and in service for one another.
How would you like to be remembered?
I like to be remembered as a simple priest, someone who is caring for the people and involved with the people and people's life and reaching out to those who are in need.
Last but not least, your Grace, Archbishop Nicholas Chia, before we close, what do you see the future of the Catholic Church around the world, including Singapore? What do you have any insights to share?
Well, in Singapore, there's always the possibility of the church growing, but first and foremost, growing in faith, because the church is ultimately reflecting Christ to others there. So we are now in the year of faith. So my one prayer is always that people will grow in the faith, and when they grow in the faith, that means God will be in them, and through their lives, they will reflect God to others. Okay.
Well, thank you, Your Grace, Archbishop Nicholas Chia, for joining us. And thank you for joining me here at the National Grace Choice, the Stienberg Review. Please do continue to pray for the Archbishop here in Singapore if you are traveling around the world. And of course, once again, have a good week ahead.
Thank you, Robin. God bless you and your work.